What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I am your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And welcome to another episode of Motivation Monday, where we go through some of our favorite quotes, showcase a client who's been absolutely crushing it, and see what we can learn from them, because learning from others, implementing in our own journey is going to help us get to that next level, as well as answer your questions. So we have some incredible questions today. These are actually our most top 3 asked questions. So today's episode is definitely going to be applicable to you. So make sure you stay right to the end, because this is going to be an excellent one. And we're going to kick it off with Coach Kyle's quote.
So my quote this week is, if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done, from Thomas Jefferson. And I think this is just so awesome, because I feel like a lot of times people try to do things and they just do what they've tried to do in the past. Now, obviously relating it to the fitness journey, let's say you've tried to lose weight. Unfortunately, if you are looking to succeed within that, if you haven't succeeded, you're going to have to try different things. And I know sometimes people are very hesitant there, because they're like, oh, well, I know if I just eat healthier. But it's like, also, if you start making those decisions where you track food, or where you start to do some strength training instead of just cardio, I do find that true results come from stepping out of your comfort zone, from doing something a little bit different. And just, if you want the same results you've always got, just do the same stuff. But if you want actual change, that's why even our coaching clients, they get such great success, because a lot of what they do is just different. They haven't actually done these things. They haven't used these spreadsheets, these protocols, everything that we do. And that's why we have such a high success rate. But if you want something, if you want something that you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done before.
This is one of my favorite quotes. I know this has been one of my quotes in the past, maybe once or twice. And what's funny is I was talking to Kyle and I'm like, what's the dumbest quote you've ever heard? And for me, the silliest quote I've ever heard, and something I've always said, and my friend loved it, and we always thought it was hilarious, and it was, to be a beast, you got to be a beast. That's the only way they'll respect you. And I always thought it was so silly, and I always kind of like made a meme of it in my head and thought it was kind of funny. But the more I actually sat and thought about it, I'm like, wow, like if you want to be a beast, you got to do what beasts do. And I'm like, okay, there's actually some merit here, and it kind of makes sense. And I heard that in a motivational video, and I'm like, wow, like what would a beast do in this situation? A beast would be getting up early, not hitting their snooze, eating the best food, cranking out the gym, even when they don't want to. And it's the same with transformations. If you want to do something you've never done, if you want to hit a strength gain, you got to start lifting more weight, learning about how to optimize that exercise, and put in that work and begin it. You can't just wish for it. And that's why I've always said, you actually have to look at the process of your ambitions. And something I'm really big on, and I guess getting ahead, going into the thoughts, is that if you really want to do something, you have to understand and be okay to do the effort it takes to get there. Because it's so easy to say, I want to run a marathon, and then be like, oh, but I don't like running. I'm not going to do the running week in, week out. I'm not going to get up early and train before it's super hot. Like, you have to make sure what you actually want is in line with what you're going to do. And that's a good way to reverse engineer this quote, is to understand the work it puts in. If you want to do a deficit, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, or a cut. So you're going to have to be in a deficit, and you may have to do that while there are some peak events in your life, or there's things going on, or it's summer. And it's really important that you make sure what you actually want is in line with what you are willing to do, and that you understand the level of work it takes to get there. Oftentimes, one of the biggest mistakes people make in their fitness, health, nutrition, anything, is they underestimate how much work and sacrifice it may take to get somewhere. Sometimes it's easier, and I'd much rather think it's going to be way harder than it is, plan for something a little more aggressive and achieve it early, than really underestimate what I need to do and be very discouraged when I don't achieve it. So I think that was a fantastic quote for today. And now we're going to go ahead and jump into my quote, which is, a man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance. And this is from Hunter S. Thompson. So once again, I know it sounds a little complicated. I'll read it one more time. Is, a man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance. So what I take from this, and where I think a lot of people should, is, if you're having a hard time choosing and deciding what is best fitness for you, like you like biking, you lift sometimes, you maybe go on some runs, you go swimming here and there, but you're not getting serious about fitness, if you don't get after it, your choice can be made for you by you needing to lose weight and exercise because something pops up in your life. Or if you don't make the choice to eat healthier food, you could end up with something that, like high blood pressure, diabetes, like these things that are looming in the darkness where it'll make that choice. And that's why it's really important, going back to what I was saying, of knowing what you want and being aware of what you want to achieve. Because you don't necessarily just find your way and stumble into really incredible circumstance or situation. You don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm shredded, I got a 6-pack, I look amazing, my veins are popping, I don't know what happened. Like, it takes a lot of persistent and consistent work. Even me, people always be like, oh, you must be on steroids or something, or what's your secret, how do you do it so quick? And I'm like, I've been lifting 10 years, day in, day out, 5 days a week. I've never taken more than pretty much a week off in my life, and that was because I had a surgery, and it's something I love to do. And like, you might hear that and go, ooh, I don't know if I want to commit to something like that. But to me, my time in the gym is my time. It's my time for reflection. I find it's like my meditation, like going to the art of meditation. The point is to kind of zone out, to let go of everything, to be present, to be active in your breath work, to be present with your body. And to me, there's no pure form of that than lifting. To be in the gym, to take some deep breaths, to be in my thoughts, to be getting something done, to block out the noise in the world is just so refreshing to me. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not getting in the gym at least 4 times a week, getting in there, banking a solid hour. In the grand scheme of it, that's 1/24th of your entire day. In my opinion, there's no excuse not to. And even just being strong, being healthy. I've started reading a book about longevity, and they said being at a certain strength criteria actually reduces all-cause mortality by 60%. Like, being a strong person is incredibly important, just as it is to be a healthy person, as it is to have amazing cardio. All these things matter so much. And if we procrastinate in our decisions and we say, I'm going to start my healthy diet in 3 years, I'm going to start training in next month, or I'm going to get serious about this, or I'm going to knock off that bad habit, you're going to end up having that choice made for you, and you're going to be in that bad situation. Instead, if you go at it by your own choice, it's just so much better to say, I'm choosing to get fit now. I don't have anything wrong with me, and that's amazing. Like, we shouldn't just be reactive. I want to challenge people to be proactive.
I love that. It reminds me of a quote I can't specifically think of, just about how everything based on the future is like from our decisions that we make right now, the choices that we make right now. And kind of working off of my quote, there was one thing I was thinking about into my thoughts as well, as like, there's a gentleman that I know that succeeds on his fitness journey, then fails, and is constantly an up and down cycle, and will like lose weight quickly, but then gain it back like super quick, and it'll never stick. And the thing is, like, similar to some of you who maybe have failed, or some of you who could see better results, it's the biggest question to ask yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, holy, like, what's going on? When am I going to make that change? Like, when am I just going to actually sit down, address the problem, address the situation, and like actually take control of this? And yeah, it's that quote was so relevant to me. I had that thing on the top of my head. I'm like, I forgot to say that. But the other thing that was on the top of my head as well, I was reading, it's a finance book, and I like some of these principles when they can relate it to the fitness journey as well, and it just really got me thinking. I'm always thinking of fitness, as you could tell, like when I'm reading other things, but pretty much what they had said was, a number of years ago, there was a study done of rich and poor all around the world to see how people who were born into poverty eventually became wealthy, and there were 3 traits that those people had. And relating this to the fitness journey, you'll hear. So they maintain a long-term vision and plan. They believe in delayed gratification, and they also use the power of compounding in their favor. So I thought that was very relevant and awesome for finance tips, but also thinking of our fitness journey. Anyone who succeeds long-term, they have that vision, they have that plan, they have that understanding. Delayed gratification is one of the biggest things that anyone who succeeds, they say, okay, I'm not going to give into this dessert. I'm not going to constantly, once again, you can incorporate desserts in, but it's that constant is like just pushing it away, not giving into every single temptation that's going to take place, the snooze button, all that other stuff. And then also compounding every habit that you do, every positive habit, every negative habit, it always compounds. So I just thought that was amazing, because like the 3 most important characteristics, in my opinion, happen to be those that compound over time and that help you succeed within your fitness journey. And I just want to share that with you today.
I absolutely could not agree more about drawing parallels from one thing to another. You can find so much gold in one area that may not seem relevant to another if you start to draw these nexuses between topics. It's something I really challenge myself to do, and actually just today I've been reading The Psychology of Money. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it if you're into finance. It's a phenomenal book. Even right on the title there, it says like one of the most refreshing new finance books. And he really just explores the psychology of how we approach finance and money. And he had a great parallel where he he said fitness and finance are similar, because with your fitness, you'll burn a certain amount of calories, you'll go out there and work, and it's the same as like getting income, having a high income. And his example was some people will burn those calories and say, I've earned this muffin, or I'm going to go get a crepe, or whatever it is, and they're going to go eat back all those calories and be at a net negative. Whereas someone could burn only a little bit of calories, but eat less food, eat better food, and actually have a little bit of that left over, and that's what they're actually going to be in a deficit for, and they're going to end up losing weight even more than that person maybe who burned 3 times as much but ate it all back. And finance is the same principle. It's that gap between your ego and your discipline, more or less. If you're making a small amount of money but you can conserve it and be intelligent about how you apply it, you'll be able to retain more of it than someone who maybe makes a lot but spends it all as well. And it's something I've always enjoyed, like looking at the two and putting focus and energy into them. They both require discipline, planning, like Kyle said. So I think that was a really great parallel and something I wanted to share there as well. And then for my thought, a bonus quote, if you will, is that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. And I love this quote for so many reasons, and I guess drawing it to fitness in particular, I know a lot of people are saying, like in their mind, they'll be like, I'm going to look so good once I have X, Y, or Z, once my butt's this size, or once I have abs, or once I could take my shirt off with confidence. And you definitely will feel good, and it's good to have those goals, but it's really important you enjoy every moment of it. And I love that point of anxious dependence, because you seem like you can only enjoy yourself if you get to that point, and you're anxious about getting to it, and you depend and you need to achieve that in your mind to be happy. But that's actually going to make you less happy and more sad, especially in the age of like Instagram, where you can go on, you can see a million people who are just breezing their way through life and they look 10 times better than you. It can be very discouraging, but it's really important that, especially when you know you're putting in the work to get where you want to be, you enjoy every step of that journey. Because looking back, even, there would be times where I was absolutely shredded, I was in incredible shape, and I thought, ooh, once I'm like a little bit more, a little bigger, a little bit more lean, I'll take more photos, I'll look better. And you always regret it, and you're like, what was wrong with me? So at any point in my life and in my journey, I try to really reflect and be proud of who I am. Even if you're 350 pounds but used to be 351, you can take a lot of pride in that, and that can be amazing. And you can still be really hungry to do more, and you should be hungry to do more, but it is great to enjoy every component along the way, and you could apply this to pretty much anything. And I just thought that was a really good reminder to be in the present, to appreciate those small things, and just be aware of that.
I find so many people put just that thought process of, in the future, when I get to this, I hear it a lot. We talk to a lot of people on Instagram, all of you awesome people. Make sure if you have any questions, by the way, message us on Instagram. You can just follow us, Colossus Fit, or click down below and that will bring us there. But just a lot of people who say, hey, once I get to this point, I'll just be so happy, everything's going to come together. I can say confidently, after helping many people and even just going through my journey many times, there's never been a time where I'm like, I've made it. You know, I'm super happy because I got here. But it's like that work that you put in. It's like that process and that being that present in that present moment and being happy and appreciating where you're at goes such a long way. And I'm glad Josh brought that up. The last thing I was thinking of is just like, you have to fully commit. And what I mean by this is we started our 60-day shred. We're a week and a half in. And I'll be honest, when I see people succeed, it's because both feet are fully in the water. They've fully committed themselves. And even myself transitioning from being like in a surplus, eating a lot more, and just making that change, it's definitely been an adjustment. It's been a little bit harder. I found myself making a few not so great decisions at the start until I said, listen, Kyle, like, what are you doing? Like, let's do this. Let's go all in. And ever since then, it's been absolutely game changing. But I see so many people, the ones that don't succeed on their journey are the ones who are just kind of like, I kind of want it, but if it happens, it doesn't really matter. And just something to think about, especially because we're getting such great results from our 60-day shred challenge already. I just want to share that with you because, we want every single person to be successful. Every one of you listening, I want you to be able to say, hey, I've done this. I'm doing what I'm striving for. I'm getting the great results, and go from there. So that's all I had on the top of my head today.
Yeah, you can't go wrong by going all in, by challenging yourself to really lean into it. I think a common mistake people have is, well, the fail-safe will say, I'm only kind of trying this thing, so if I fail, it's because I didn't try my hardest. And it'll be like that security net that actually is holding you back. So if you want something, get after it, put in that work. If you want to get somewhere you've never been, you got to do something you've never done. That's where it comes full circle, and it's a great reminder to focus on that. And I'm delighted to shout out my client, Andrew Gombas, for this week's client shout out, because he has been doing it. He came in wanting to lose some weight, wanting to get a healthier relationship with food, to limit like episodes of having a lot lot of food at once and really to be in control of his journey, put on more muscularity, maintain a lean physique, and achieve some incredible strength feats. And it's been a pleasure working with him just about 2 years, I believe now, which has been fantastic. He's continued to invest in himself. We've crushed goal after goal after goal. And what's amazing too is I even woke up to a message from him this morning saying, I'm at the end of my block in my routine. I'm testing my deadlift and I want to see what I could do. And I was amazed. I pulled 510 pounds on the deadlift, nice and easy. And like, it's so cool to see someone come in with like smaller goals and to see how far they evolve and to be able to do these incredible things. And similar to what I was saying before, you don't just stumble your way into this. He made that investment. He's been putting in that work. And now for him, it looks easy. He looks phenomenal. He's eating a bunch of healthy food. He's got a great grasp on his fitness, nutrition, and health. And other people might say, wow, it's so easy for you. But he put in that work. He did that first step. And oftentimes that's just reaching out, getting a coach, investing in yourself, understanding that you are indeed worth it, learning how to go about things the right way so you can optimize training to get better results faster, to have a healthy relationship with food, to actually understand how to be in a deficit intelligently, to have a plan for your fitness, your goal, and to establish rhythm in your journey and learn how to do this long term, not just for the short term. So if you'd like to learn how to do this, you'd like to work one-on-one with me and Kyle, this is your chance. We're doing a special summer abs promo because who doesn't love summer and who doesn't love a good set of abs? So if you're looking to achieve just removing some body fat this summer, especially visceral fat, if you got a lot of stomach fat, that's something you're going to want to get off. There's a lot of negative health just consequences linked to that. You actually want to be storing most of your fat in your legs. It's a healthier place for it. So if that area is creeping up on you and you want to trim that up, put on some muscle, take off the fat, this is your chance. Whether we get you all the way to the abs or we just get you a tight tummy, this is going to be for you. So we have 3 spots available for this, and you can message us on Instagram to @ColossusFit, ColossusFit, with the keyword summer abs.
Honestly, if I were to have every single one of you in front of me and say, hey, who wants abs for summer? With everything that's going on between cottages, barbecues, everything that you have, I know speaking to all of my clients as well, everyone's been like, I'm getting ready for this event. I have this bachelor party, this bachelorette, all that great stuff. I know 90+% of you will raise your hand and say, I want this. So reach out to us. As we said, the quote, you've got to do something you've never done before, especially to succeed. A lot of times, unfortunately, those that don't take that leap and that investment into themselves, we reach out to them or they reach out to us a few months later and they're like, I'm in the same spot. And we don't want that to be you. We want every single person, as I said, to succeed. Send us that message, step out of your comfort zone. We will get you to that next level. I can promise you that. I can guarantee you that. So we're excited to hear from you on good old Instagram.
Yeah, so once again, the keyword is summer abs. So you can go ahead and message us that to take care of it. Instagram @ColossusFit, ColossusFit. It's also in the description in case you forget. But now we're going to jump into the mailbag with question number 1, which are, what are some of your top ways to reduce stress? So more than ever, I think people are super stressed out. It's really hard. At least summer's here, and it's awesome to see just how much people seem happier coming back, like being in Florida for so long, then coming back to the cold and just seeing how kind of grumpy everyone was relative to when they're in the sun. It was such an obvious parallel. Like, it was polar opposites. It blew me away. So at least we have summer going for us. And one of my biggest tips for stress is to be in sunlight and to be in the fresh air. So for my morning routine, the first thing I will do is I will get outside, I'll get on a walk, and I'll try and get sunlight however I can. If it's a really rainy, dark day, at least you're outside in fresh air, in nature, and it's just a phenomenal feeling. One way I also hack this is I have a little sunlight UV lamp. I don't know how incredible they are. I know there's probably mixed results on them. I'm going to dig into it more, but it actually makes me feel good, and it kind of gives me that feeling of just like sunlight on me. So on those darker days, I've gone back to using that, and that's something I've enjoyed. But nothing beats just being outside. And even for me, whenever I'm away from the sun for so long, I'm somewhere cold and you go on a trip or somewhere warm and you're out in the sun for a day, it's amazing how much it exhausts you but also energizes you. So when you're in it, you just feel incredible. You can go forever. But at night, it takes it out of you, and it just makes you want to knock out and crash and get a killer sleep. And sleep is one of the best things, along with sunlight, in my opinion, for stress. It's these small things. It's not big things. Like, as great as going and getting a massage is, that'll definitely help, and doing things that relax you. But look at the big picture things that really address your needs from a human level. Just those simple moments. And I even love the concept of like one business guru was saying, if you want a break, take a break whenever you want it. He said for him, he'll take a 5-second break sometimes. He'll sit there, close his eyes, take a deep breath, count to 5. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but my point is, I know a lot of people will say, I don't have time to take a break. I got 4 kids, 6 jobs, and 20 dogs. And they'll say, I have no time to breathe. But what they could do is take that 5 seconds, breathe, do what you need to do. If it's a minute walk every hour at work to get around, get some movement, that'll be phenomenal as well. If it's waking up a little bit earlier to get out, get after it, that's going to help as well. To get to bed on time. Oftentimes with stress, in my opinion, is just avoiding that procrastination and doing those high-level tasks, whether you feel like it or not, they're going to make you feel better. I know getting up every time at the same day is going to make me feel better. I know going to bed at the same time is going to make me feel better because I'm going to be rested. I know actually doing my work is going to make me feel better because there's going to be less over my head. I know if there is something big and crazy over my head, for me to get out, address it, and deal with it and face that head on and not put it off is going to make me feel better. I know going to the gym is going to make me feel better, help me sleep better, relax me, give me a physical outlet. And like lifting is just amazing for stress because you're lifting hard, you're sweating, you're getting in there, you're just physically attacking things. And it's an amazing mechanism for it. So my biggest tips for stress are that above all else. I believe in meditation. All these things are really, really great, but really look at the big picture things, your routine, and I find you can knock that stress level way down. Even for myself, that's something I've really come to be aware of. Another big bonus tip, especially if you are someone who prefers like cleanliness and like a clean space, having clean things around you is just refreshing because when you're constantly surrounded by mess, you get in your car, there's 80 pop cans on the floor. In your head, you always think, I should get rid of these pop cans. There's a lot of trash in here. I should clean my car. I should do this. And when it's already done, it's just such a refreshing thing to be in a fresh car or to have an empty, just clear desk. It's like a blank canvas for your mind. And these things, as small as they are my top tips for stress. I know Kyle will have some more like really good nitty gritty little hacks at work as well, but that's my biggest piece of advice that has helped me quite a lot.
Yeah, that's so game changing. And it's going to happen for all of us where like we all have those times where it's just like it's built up and it's like, holy, but I'll be honest, I can't say there's many moments where I feel entirely stressed. And some people are like, oh, well, you make your own schedule, this and that. It's like, that's definitely not the case at all. The biggest thing is that the habits that I've built up and what I do day to day, no matter if I'm feeling great or if I'm not feeling great, if the sun's out or if the sun's not out, it's just, I do it every single day. And so when I look at my habits and everything I've built up for the past, I guess, 3 to 5 years-ish, there's so much like, and I didn't really notice it until I was like thinking of what to say for this, but there's so much that helps with managing stress. From the start, as soon as I wake up, similar to Josh, a lot of my habits are very similar. We got the meditation side of things. We have the walking side of things. I'll do at least 2 to 3 walks a day now that it's nice. We have the some sort of cardio outlet, which is fun. Even biking's been awesome for us. Rock climbing's been amazing. Some sort of extra movement. Lifting 5 times a week. I do sauna 4 times a week, which allows me to just chill out, do some breathing, chat with Josh if we're there together. And there's just so many parts in my life where it's just like stress, just me, allowing me to feel good. I'm not even purposely trying to reduce stress, but I find that every single thing just makes you feel so amazing when you do it. And even for some of you who are just on the go, you're crazy busy. Like there's times where I want to do my 11-minute meditation. I'm like, okay, I'm running out of the house. Even this morning, I just put the 1 minute on my Apple Watch where it has the deep breathing part. And I just took a bunch of deep breaths, and it's just like amazing how great it can make you feel, like if you are ever feeling just overwhelmed or anxious or whatever. But past that, one of my other big tips is just a lot of it comes down to mindset. I think so many people put together scenarios in their head, like thinking of what's going to happen at work tomorrow. Like you've clocked out, there's not a whole lot you can do, but you're just so focused on that. So I think over the years and over, I guess, like just a lot of time, I've just kind of forced myself to be like, you know what? Just there's not a whole lot I can do right now. I'm just going to focus on being present, and whatever happens, I'll deal with it when it comes. And I think that's something that is hard for people, but a lot of it comes with training and being able to look past that. And then my last small little hack that, is realizing what actually stresses you out. I get stressed out when I'm late. I hate being late. I know if I'm about to text Josh, I'm like, hey man, I'm a little bit late. I don't like that. I don't like people waiting for me. So I know that that's one of the biggest things that causes stress for me. When I used to drive to personal training clients and I was late, holy, like I don't like it. It's not my favorite thing. So for me, I always try to give myself enough time. And I wanted to share this because there's a lot of things that you can notice in your life where you're like, this is causing me stress. Let's figure out how to fix it. Now I'm going to always leave on time. I'm going to leave early. If I have to sit there for a few minutes, I'd rather that than someone wait on me. And that's all I really had to share for that one.
Some excellent tips there. And my last big tip is understand what's stressing you out. And sometimes there's stressful times in your life. Exam season, very stressful. Going through renos, I can tell you, very stressful. And just know to be patient with yourself. Even me yesterday, going through renos. I'm doing some of it myself. It's physically exhausting. It's tiring. It's mentally always on your mind. And I wanted to go to the gym in the morning. I'm like, I'm taking my rest day today. I can push that later in the weekend. It makes sense. So just have that understanding with yourself. Be aware of what you need. And if you need a little bit more time, if you need to just take a night to relax, even me and Kyle normally rock climb and bike. And like, I'm always pretty much down to do these things. But I'm like, this is the week probably where I think it'll put me over. It'll be too much. And easy way to stress yourself out is overcommit. I'm a big believer that we can do a lot more than we actually think we can. And it feels good to be busy getting after things. But when you do know you need like that second to take that breath, even if it's a breath in your schedule, I recommend taking it. And you don't always want to use that excuse because it's important to do things, but here and there, when appropriate, I find that will be very refreshing as well. So that's my final piece of advice. For the next question, I know Kyle is big on this, so he's going to have some really good answers. And that is, how can I improve my sleep quality? And I like this because it's not how can I sleep more, it's how can I improve my sleep quality.
So honestly, there's so many different things. I find that a lot of people will say they have good quality sleeps, but like, the truth is, even like there's some people who have caffeine an hour before bed and say, no, it's totally okay, I sleep fine. But the truth is that, like, I'll give you an example. Caffeine is still always in your system. There's a half-life of, I'd say, upwards of 10 hours. And some people don't realize that. But it's about doing all those little things and like taking a look once again at yourself, at your routine, what's going on here. So like a bunch of things that I like to personally focus on is just, first of all, cutting off caffeine 10 hours before bed. It's not always perfect, but I'd say at least 8 hours is definitely one of my go-tos. Trying to avoid having too much food before bed. A lot of people don't realize, and there was a myth before saying don't have food before bed, and you're totally fine to have it, but in terms of your actual sleep quality, it has been shown that your body obviously needs to digest, and it's going to affect the sleep quality as well. Even just drinking before bed definitely isn't the greatest if you have to wake up, go to the bathroom, all that other stuff. And then even just phones, it's been proven to just not have those, screens, all that great stuff about an hour before bed. So that's another thing. But yeah, those are things I'm always trying to take a look at. Like always have a little sip of water, try not to have too big of a meal, try to avoid screens as much as I can. I'm still not great at this one. That's definitely like the one thing. But even just some of my clients have asked recently, like, hey, what should I do? And I find that the ones who kind of similar to the stress management stuff, the ones who kind of take a bit of time to maybe either read or do a little couple minute meditation or just maybe even some journaling, like those people get the best quality sleeps when you actually take time to just like decompress, like to take those habits, focus on those other things. And I'm sure Josh will have a ton of things, but these are my personal favorites.
Yeah, we have a lot of amazing resources on improving sleep, but quality of sleep is what you really need to focus on. Everyone's really concerned with getting more, banking more hours, and I find that's the wrong way to look at it. Instead, you want good quality sleep. And one of the best things you can do with that is having a routine. Have like a bedtime routine. Have something you do every night to get you ready to signal that you're actually tired. Make sure you're actually getting tired so you can get deep quality sleep. Make sure you're getting up at the same time, because you start going to bed at a certain time, then one night you stay up to 3, you sleep into 10, the next day you don't want to go to bed early because you can't, you got to stay up, and it'll really kind of mess up your whole week. And that's why keeping that ironclad is actually being shown in studies to be so much better and more consistent. And that's definitely my number one thing, is having that routine, having that schedule. The second is being honest with yourself. It's so easy to be like, oh, well, I don't mind having a beer before bed because it helps me fall asleep faster. But this is like a zero-sum way of looking at this, because just because you fall asleep better, it's not going to get you the result you want, because it's going to compromise your sleep quality and really limit your REM sleep, which is really important, where you can heal, grow, and recover the best. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice, whereas you might mentally think, oh, it's better because I'm getting to bed. Your sleep quality is suffering. Just the same, if you need if you have coffee late in the day and you say it doesn't affect me, I still fall asleep like that, it is affecting you, even if you don't think it is. Like, science is science. It shows the quality, the deepness of your sleep is what you want here, and that's where the effort should really be put. It's not about banking tons of hours. Someone may sleep 5 hours really good, really deep. Someone might sleep 10 hours, but they're getting up every 2 hours because they have to pee, they've had alcohol, they've had coffee late, they have crazy sunlight in their room, there's not noise being blocked out, and that person's actually going to feel net worse than that person who gets a really deep, good quality 5 sleep. And the more you look at it from a quality perspective, I find it's more controllable, because things do pop up. We love watching the fights. If we're going out to watch the fights, you're up till 1:30. it's going to impact your sleep. Even for me, I still get up the next day at the same time, and I've felt really good with it because I know I'm still getting really good quality sleep. The next night, I'm going to get good quality sleep the night before. I find it's these marathons where things really get messed up that it's tough, but by having a set schedule, you can always like defer to it, feel amazing, and be in a great place because of it.
Yeah, even Josh has some notes here as well mentioning that you want a nice dark spot, like, just your bedroom should be like super dark. Some people have sunlight coming in and just even lights, like we've all been there, even just there's some of the places we've stayed in the Airbnbs, it's like you look outside, there's just crazy lights and you're wondering why do I feel so horrible? And then you're like, oh, I forgot that light was coming in. And even just the temperature as well, like just a nice cool space goes such a long way. And yeah, those are some amazing tips. But focusing on stress management and quality sleep, like so many people focus on every other area of their journey. They go out, they get the supplements, they'll buy out these fad things and stuff, and then like not be paying attention to these things, which you can actually do completely free, pretty much every single one of them. That'll actually make a bigger impact on your fitness journey. So yeah, very, very important to think about for sure.
Last but not least, we have a fun one, and that is what are some healthy and filling snacks? So I bounce around this a lot. Even to Kyle, I was saying today that I don't really have protein powder anymore. I've just been loving really good, healthy, fun snacks, and that's been something I've been enjoying, and I still hit my protein. I'm getting 200 plus grams of protein every single day, still getting after it, so hopefully my suggestions will be helpful to you. So one thing I've really been loving is Greek yogurt. I find just pure Greek yogurt, just plain, is the best because it's going to have the highest amount of protein. You're going to get a moderate amount of carb, and you're going to get no fat. So the reason I like that is it's a really good blank slate where if you can get a lot of protein in a snack, you're doing well. It's going to help you feel full. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help you maintain muscle, put on new muscle. It's a powerful nutrient for a reason, so you want to take advantage of it. And then what I love about Greek yogurt is it's a base. You can add anything you want to it. You could get Reese's Pieces and throw them in there and make it delicious. Add some fat, add a little bit of sugar, make it more of a treat. You could keep it super healthy, add fruit, add granola, add chia seeds, add hemp. You can add anything you want in there. And that's why I love Greek yogurt, because you can make it whatever macros you want. You can make it super healthy and just pure and clean and just powerful, or you can add in a few things, throw in a couple of chocolate chips, you can put some cinnamon on top, and that's why I love the plain, because I find it's really good to build around of. And those are my favorite snacks in general, things that you can modify. So you can make your own trail mixes, you can get like a lot of really good nuts, you could put in a few fun things, get some dark chocolate. Like snacks in particular, the reason we avoid this most often, and Kyle will tell you we have a really good list and something available for clients, but it's so different for everyone. Everyone likes different things, and you need to find things that really work well for you. But the more you can find these unique high protein snacks, I think they're a better option in general, because snacking can get dangerous. Some delicious snacks, I'm gonna have a muffin. Some of them are like 500 calories, just pure carbs, and kind of messes up the macros for the day. It can be kind of heavy. You can feel kind of lethargic. And I actually read Jocko Willink's book lately, and one thing I loved is he said, you're not hungry, you're just bored. And most often with snacking, we snack because we're bored. We want something to eat. And his argument was, you don't really need to eat. Like if you got to wait like another hour, it's not going to kill you. Like we can go 30 days without food if we have water. Like there's no need to be like, oh, I haven't had food in 45 minutes and I'm in an airport. Like sometimes waiting and avoiding a snack that you know isn't going to be good for you, and just having a good, better, high quality meal is an amazing thing, because most snacks unfortunately get a bad rap for a reason. But saying so, I do like about a 3 p.m. snack, and something I've really been enjoying are like Quest chips, because they're protein chips, so they're really right there in the middle. It's kind of like having a protein scoop. It's made from the same components, but I find it gets me that crunchy, salty, fun midday kick. And once again, I don't like that you don't necessarily need to have that, but to be able to have it is a lot of fun. Popcorn's another one of my favorites. If you get like a low fat, non-buttered popcorn, it's really low calories, high fiber, high volume. Vegetables are my all-time favorite because they're insanely high volume, really good for you. Smoothies can be fantastic, but there's limitless options in the snack department. Beef jerky, like you can go all day with these, but Kyle, I know will have some killer.
Yeah, Josh texted me the other day. He's like, dude, Costco, they've got the Quest chips. Let's go. I immediately went there, bought a couple packages. It was a good day. And it's nice when you use snacks appropriately. I think a lot of people will take them and just fill their entire day. They're on the go, and that's just going to mess you up. But like, I'll give you a situation yesterday. I looked at my calories. I was running around a bit. I didn't plan as well. And I looked at my protein. It was 150 grams. I'm aiming for at least 170, and I was 300 calories short. I didn't really want a chicken breast. I didn't want a protein shake. I had Greek yogurt already. So Quest chips, awesome. This is perfect. It gives me that satisfaction. I'm not going to go buy a bag of chips. And anyways, it helps me out. And that's the best part, is using them them to your advantage instead of taking advantage of them. Or I guess like just, yeah, you not utilizing them to your advantage is what I'm trying to say. But any client who signs up, we have tons of amazing resources. We have our supplement guide. We have our suggested food list guide. We have our fast food guide. We also have a recipe guide. So all these amazing things worth probably about $2,000 completely included. And I'm looking at the list right now. We have a bunch of different options for our clients, but similar to what Josh said, popcorn is awesome. 2 cups can be about 100 calories or so, which is awesome because that's going to be super filling. Rice cakes, even one rice cake would be 40 calories. There's definitely different types of ice cream options as well. That's going to be way better than like just the typical Ben and Jerry's and all that stuff, whether it's Halo Top, Cool Way. There's a lot of Greek yogurt snacks as well. I know in the States they have the Yasso bars. Like if you're trying to find that thing that gives you that satisfaction and that kind of that what you're looking for without like completely destroying your day, there's a lot of amazing options there. And then I'm a huge fan of Pure Protein bars because they're cheap. I can use them to my advantage when I need it. It's about like $1 a bar or something, and I'm a huge fan of that. And I'd honestly say past that, one of my favorites to utilize will just be some sort of fruits. Obviously, depending on my day and how many calories I have and what my situation's looking like, I always love bringing bananas around somewhere just because I feel like they're simple and you don't have to like wash them. Like I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's just if I'm stuck in that situation, I need something, it's definitely very helpful. But any sort of fruits can go a long way. It's very often people will just have too much of it and not realize like they actually do add up. Bananas 100 plus calories. You have a couple of those and a couple other fruits, it's going to definitely not be a great situation there because you may go over calories. But those are a bunch of options. If you are looking to jump on board with our coaching, finally get the abs that you deserve, reach that next level, have that support, and even these resources alone with the Facebook community is worth it alone. Like you'll be getting so much more worth what your investment's going to be. So we're excited. We'll give you at least 10 times your value. I can promise you that. And just make sure to send us a message on Instagram with the keyword summer abs and we will absolutely take care of you there.